Underlords launched somewhat unceremoniously, most likely due to the large amount of competition that's starting up in the auto chess marketplace. So, the game that we ended up getting was most likely not supposed to be shipping. I'm sure if you asked the Underlords team a few weeks ago when they were planning on putting this game out, it was most likely going to be during TI9. So, the build of the game that we have right now, at least for the people that have the Dota 2 TI9 Battle Pass, is incomplete, to say the least. The game itself is very fun, but it is missing many features, and that was probably done in order to be able to get the game out as soon as possible. Some stuff couldn't be finished in time so that the core gameplay could be polished up enough to be somewhat shippable. That means that there is a significant amount of features and gameplay elements that we have yet to see that are being planned and likely almost finished development. The video you are watching right now was originally based off of all the future features that were found within the files. And then yesterday, on Friday, June 14th, the website for the open beta update accidentally leaked, and this version of the website is incomplete, with all of the text features of the website being the Steam translation server strings instead of the actual entries, and some of the artwork being placeholder. So now we have a few places to draw from to predict what is coming next for Dota Underlords. And there's a lot. Starting specifically on the website, the game will be called in 1 week Dota Underlords Early Access. This is a free-to-play game that is taking its first beta season. Essentially, this game will have, as the website announced, ranked matchmaking, with tournaments, ranks, and seasons, and the seasons will change periodically throughout the year. The very first season is called the beta season, because it does not necessarily count towards anything, and is instead used to gather as much feedback as possible so that when the game does quote-unquote launch, it is far more polished than what previously could have been obtainable without a large audience of beta testers. On the lower half of the website is a section called Upcoming Features, where it's supposed to be discussing quite a few upcoming features, but because of the Steam translation server strings, there is only the title of the feature and a lot left to speculation. What is listed is a battle pass. This appears to be the game's only monetization strategy. The game is free to play, and unlike Artifact, you don't have to pay for the heroes that appear in the game. So paying for a battle pass is likely the best option moving forward. If you actually pay attention within the files, we have the HUD elements for this battle pass, and as you can see, there is a free and paid variant for this pass. We also know that the game boards that we found within the files are part of this battle pass. So the 4 known maps, being the alleyway, the forest, the test, and the normal DAC maps, will be unlockable through this battle pass. However, it can be assumed that everything the player unlocks through this system will be cosmetic. Things you can add to the heroes, things you can add to your personal profile, and things you can add to the game that do not change the gameplay or give the player any kind of advantage. As stated before, ranked matchmaking is a huge upcoming feature. Found within the files themselves are 8 ranks, each rank holding 5 tiers. The names of these ranks are unknown, however, it could be assumed that it will be copying somewhat close to auto chess, where the different ranks are named after chess pieces. Also announced is a built-in tournament mode. We don't know if these tournaments will be hosted by Valve or hosted by the players or both, but there is official integration for tournaments. We also know that seasonal rotation is a big deal, and with each season comes different theming within the game itself. We also know that within each season, different heroes become playable, and in fact, within the files themselves are references to 16 heroes that are currently not found in the base version of Underlords. Those heroes are Darkseer, Elder Titan, Skywrath Mage, Bane, Earthshaker, Invoker, Oracle, Pangolier, Pugna, Rubnik, Storm Spirit, Sven, Vengeful Spirit, Weaver, Wrath King, and Zeus, all holding some kind of references or files within the current build of the game without those heroes appearing to be playable in any regard. So at least part of the 16 will be added in within Season 1. Now, whether or not Valve plans on rotating some of the heroes, meaning removing some and adding others, is unknown. However, it likely will be done for balance purposes. The last upcoming feature that is teased on the page is something called Online Offline, and it's unknown what exactly Valve means by an online offline upcoming feature. You can already play the game online and offline. However, we'll just have to see what ends up happening when the full website releases in less than a week. A major portion of Underlords that is not directly referenced in the website is the deep lore of the game. Right on the front page of this website are 3 full arts of new characters we've never seen before. And if you scroll down a little bit, one of these characters is named. This fawn-like creature, similar to Jalexia from Artifact, is named Anesix. The description on this character profile doesn't appear to have anything to do with the character and instead has to do with the actual story of Underlords. Quote, 8 individuals have stepped out of the shadows to claim Mama Eve's place as the voice of Whitespire, and the city will be plunged in endless conflict. Also, fun little side note, if you pay attention to the wood texture behind Anesix, there's some stock photo logos just sitting there. This is obviously placeholder. So we know the name of one of these characters, but there are 3 sitting on the front page of the website, and in fact, during the first day of this game's open beta, these 3 characters sat in silhouette on the main menu. So who are the other 2? Well, digging through the files, we actually have a full art of the big tusk-like creature, and the file's name is Jull, Jull. So this massive mammoth man is likely named Jull. However, the smaller fairy-like creature is unnamed, and we know nothing about it. In fact, we know nothing about the race of this creature, where the creature came from. This might be a completely new type of creature in the Dota 2 lore. So let's just give them a name so that it's difficult for Valve to be able to release their own name, just as a joke. So memorize this name and this face. We're gonna call this guy Kessin. That's Kessin. Don't call him anything else. This character is named Kessin. However, there's a problem, because within Anesix's description are 8 characters, not 3. So where are the other 5? Well, actually, they've been sitting in front of you the entire time if you've been playing the game. If you've noticed, your Steam profile picture is not placed on the side when you play auto chess. It's a random silhouette of a character. 8 of them are found within the files. Jull and Anesix are 2 of them. So there are actually 8 new characters to the Dota 2 lore that are being added specifically in this season of Dota Underlords, and we have the side profiles of all of them. I have consulted the Dota 2 Artifact lore expert herself, Angermania Productions, for some speculation on exactly who these people might be, and in order, we know that number 1 is likely a fairy and is the one from the picture that we're calling Kessin. Number 2 is the Walrus Bear, likely from Cobalt, who we now know is named Jull. Number 3 is Alesix, and we know that she is a fawn and likely related to Jalexia from Artifact. Number 3 is a fairy, and likely is the same race as Dark Willow from Revtail. Number 5 is a troll, likely from Haven or the Bleeding Hills. Number 6 is a human, and although we don't know for a fact where this human is from, we can take a guess that it's from Slaugham. Number 7 is possibly a Slytherin-type creature from Cray, and number 8 is an Iron Fog robot, from Iron Fog. These 8 new characters likely play a large role in the deep lore of Underlords, and this lore itself seems to take place after Artifact, but obviously before Dota 2. Everyone is completing for Mama Eve's place at Whitespire. Whitespire being kind of a new location to the Dota 2 lore, and likely being located somewhere near Revtail. Whitespire seems to be a place for gambling and some debauchery that goes on, and the fights taking place in Underlords might be things related to courier fights that different people bet on. All of the lore, like the lore found in Artifact, has been confirmed to be written by Seve Jaros, and as confirmed by Seve Jaros on Twitter, this lore is very much intertwined with the lore of Artifact, and Seve Jaros has a lot of plans to be able to bob and weave the story through both. And yes, this transitions into the things we've learned from Underlords development people on Twitter. First of all, Adrian Fanal has confirmed that the Underlords team is 26 people according to his Twitter bio. That isn't really how Valve works, however, on average, you can find 26 people working on Underlords day to day. I personally DM'd Adrian Fanal asking if Artifact is still being worked on in the face of Underlords, to which I got just the response, yes. However, it was followed by a bunch of characteristic Valve silence when trying to get any more details on Artifact, so I'm sorry, Artifact fans. However, also according to Adrian Fanal on Twitter, we know that the dark outlines that were removed in the most recent PC patch of Underlords will be a toggleable option. We also know that there is a prototyped head-to-head mode when you get to the final 2 players. Also confirmed, this game runs on Source 2 on both PC and mobile, and it is crossplay to the point where you can start a game on the PC, stop, and pick up on that game on your mobile device seamlessly. And of course, Artifact is still being worked on. Going back to the website that leaked yesterday, there is actually quite a bit of beta content sitting in front of all of us. This screenshot that is sitting in the middle of this update website is actually using a picture from the beta. As you can see on the side there, the profile picture for the player is a courier, not one of the new 8 characters. In fact, it seems like the silhouettes for those 8 characters were a very late addition. Found within the files themselves is the original tutorial used for the game. And as you can see, the UI is completely different, and the game used couriers as player icons, very similar to how it was done in the actual auto chess add-on. The UI for picking characters is also quite early in development and has changed quite a bit. However, the models appeared to have been used directly from Dota 2 instead of being changed for performance purposes on mobile. The placement of all of the buttons on the shop have been switched around, and the default play area is actually the one known as DAC test within the files, the one that looks the most like the Radiance part of the Dota 2 map. And also, while we're speaking of beta, the original background image for the game on mobile was this. This obviously is White Spire, but it is a very early, rough painting of White Spire. While we're closing out this video, some feedback personally from me. Within the new UI update that was released yesterday, as of recording, the new shop looks much closer to the original auto chess version. However, now that the card system is completely gone, the stars underneath heroes that you already have bought in order to be able to keep track of who you can upgrade when buying new heroes can sometimes be obscured by the stars on the heroes in play, and visibility between the two can become difficult. Please create an opaque layer behind the shop so that all of the UI elements underneath the heroes can be seen unobscured by things on the game board. Thank you. Underlords appears to be one of the quickest games ever developed in Valve history, and part of that has to do with the fact that the main gameplay loop was created by somebody else. However, this is what Valve used to do. Team Fortress 2, Counter-Strike, Day of Defeat, all started from other projects that were bought into the office and then polished up and released as a retail product. Valve is also releasing updates and communicating far more than even Artifact was a couple of months ago. And now that we also know that Artifact is still being developed, even though a lot of the Artifact team members from before are on Underlords, it's safe to assume that Underlords is currently being used as a way to test the exact opposite of what was done with Artifact, so that when it comes time to bring back Artifact, those lessons will be learned properly, and the game will be released in a state that people will actually enjoy it in. I'm very much enjoying this new state that Valve is in, at least parts of them. The CSGO team, the VR software team, the VR hardware team, the Steam team, the Underlords/Artifact team, all of them are incredibly communicative and working diligently on new software that we're going to be playing very soon. I'm very excited about that, and you should be too. If you want to keep up with all of those things, including other things that I cover on this channel, check out my Twitter page, linked down in the description below for real-time news on all of it. And if you want to be able to support these videos, check out my Patreon page, link to that down in the description below, and thank you very much for watching. I'm Tyler McVicker, this is Valve News Network. Have a good day. Adios.